All right. Good morning, folks. Good morning. Welcome to another wonderful day here on Maximum Life with yours truly, Michael Norman. I got started this morning um, without checking my audio output source. So give me 1 second, put this in, and then we will continue, hopefully, with volume. Okay, check. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. So, again, welcome to another installment of Maximum Life with yours truly, Michael C. Norman. It's a joy and a pleasure to be with you. Missed you on last week because I had the fortunate pleasure of taking my wife and my son, my grandson, and our daughter. We went to New York City to kind of tour and check out some of the tourist sites there. It was really good. We had an opportunity to have some downtime and to take in the Broadway play Othello, featuring Denzel Washington and Jake Gyllenhaal. Amazing, incredible. You have to pay close attention to the language that they're using because it's Shakespearean, all of the these, thus, thou, hitherto, and that sort of thing. But overall, it was an amazing play. Hope you get a chance to go out and experience it for yourself. Not enough about, I was about to say enough about myself, but I do want to tell you one more thing. I'm planning and developing a course right now. I'm going to present it to you probably next week, where we're going to help you do what I've been challenging people all around the world every day, every time I come on the air. I'm challenging people to take control of their own financial destiny, to take control of their own financial destiny, to be the master of their own destiny. Well, it's one thing to inspire and to give inspiration, but it's another thing to give information. So I'm going to give a challenge out to each of you, and I won't do it today, but it's coming probably next week, where you can have an opportunity to develop an app and a system that helps you to gain generational wealth, because that's what I do. I, Michael Norman, I help faith-based leaders develop courage enough to develop and start their own business so that can lead to generational wealth, kingdom wealth. So that's what I do. I help people develop courage enough to stop saying I can't do it, or I have to have a college degree, or I'm not smart enough, or excuse me, or I was born to the wrong family, or I'm the wrong color. Get all the buts out of your way, okay? If you're going to experience monetary wealth in this life, you have to get the butts out of your way. Whether it's a lack of education butt, get your lack of education butt out of the way. If it's my ethnicity, but my ethnicity is not accepted. Get your ethnicity butt out of the way. Get it out of the way so that you can make pathways that will lead to prosperity. So again, that's what we do. I help faith-based leaders develop courage enough to start a business that leads to generational or legacy wealth, and so that they can say yes to more vacations with their family. Take your wife on a trip. Take your family on a trip. Enjoy life. The Bible says, and of course, I've got to include the scriptures, because that's what I do. That's what has transformed my life. That is what is transforming my life. And is this. John 10:10 says that I have come that you might have life, and that you might have it more abundantly. So God is not about you just barely making it. I know you've been conditioned to thinking that this success and abundance is for some people and not for others, but there could be nothing further from the truth. God desires that you all should prosper and be in good health. That's his desire, for you to be wealthy enough not only to supply your needs, but help supply the needs of others. And though that's what I'm going to deal with today in this particular broadcast, but I wanted to make you aware of this upcoming challenge we're going to be doing in the month of April. So I want you to kind of ready your mind, get in your mindset, and get your attitudes in a position where you're able to take advantage of this challenge. And so we'll talk more about that in the days to come. But I'd love to hear back from you in the chat. Chat with me. Let me hear how this broadcast ministers to you, if it makes sense to you, or perhaps suggestions that you might have. Above all, I would love for you to subscribe. Click the subscribe button click the like button. And then, of course, make sure that you get involved. I read all of the chats, so whether good or bad, I read them all. It doesn't matter anyway, whether they're good or bad. It doesn't affect my position. I believe in me, and I believe in the message that I'm sharing with you that is going to potentially bring you into a level of prosperity and wealth the way that you have possibly never even not only experienced, but even conceived, that you can walk into a level of increase and blessings and prosperity and abundance. Because again, I remind you of John 10:10, where Jesus says, he's speaking the mind of God concerning all of us. I have come not so you can join a church per se, but that you might have life. And that's why I often make the distinction that as church and religious folk, sometimes they've omitted the life part and majored on the church. Jesus says, I've come that you might have life, but we've relegated to having church. And so we can do church at a high level, but we're very, very seldom can we do life on a high level. And so that's one of the missions of this video, is to help facilitate and give you insight, tools, tips, and techniques that you can use that will bring you into a level of prosperity and growth that you can begin to enjoy life, and that more abundantly. Thusly, the name of the show, Maximum Life. All right. So as you can see in the header, today's topic is dealing with why. So I want to talk about that. Okay. I want to deal with that real in this video rather briefly. Of course, this is not going to be exhaustive, but it's going to give you a good footing on how you can begin to develop the mindset. Because again, my motto is your mindset will affect your assets. Your mindset will affect your asset, and your mentality will affect your reality. So my real mission here is not necessarily to affect your pocketbooks as much as it is to affect your mind, and so doing, it will affect your pocketbooks. That's how it happens. Okay. So one of the greatest reasons why people don't get $1 million is because they don't believe that, number one, that they're worthy of it. They look at $1 million in the same way they look at God, in the sense that there are those God likes and he blesses, and then there are those that God doesn't like and he curses. Those that are can have an abundant life, that can have a life filled with joy, laughter, and contentment, etc., etc. And then those who just live on the struggle bus, that from day to day, every day is a hustle. Every day I'm hustling. And I'm not talking Rick Ross, because he might be hustling, but he's not street hustling anymore. He's living in a multi-million-dollar mansion. I would say his hustle days are over. He's just changed his mentality. But often, many of us don't believe that millions of dollars is something that is for our lives, that is for rich people, as though they are pre-selected. But I would suggest to you that many who walk in wealth and abundance and millions of dollars and control millions upon millions of dollars are self-made. They did not come, yes, many came from wealth, but the majority of them, and particularly at the billionaire status, many of them are self-made. And I would even add that millions, or many rather, of the millionaires that we know, the familiar names who are millionaires and billionaires, many of them did not even complete college. They may have gone, but many of them did not go to college. Many of them dropped out of college. So the attitude that says, I can't become a millionaire because I don't have the proper education, which I thought that at one time as well. But I fastly became aware through the scripture that it is God's desire for me to prosper. And for me to prosper, not in the sense that I can be a blessing to my four and no more, or me, myself, and I, but the blessings that I desire to be on my life is at such a level that I can be a blessing. See, that's when you're actually living the good life, that all of your needs are so met that now you can focus on the needs of others, because the scripture says, again, that it is more blessed to give, not to receive. Now, that doesn't mean you can't receive. It just means that the better part of it is to be the giver rather than the receiver. The better part of life is being in a position where you can do for those who can't do for themselves. And so now again, wealth doesn't start in your bank account. I want to say that from the onset. That's not the beginning. That's not the beginning of wealth. Your bank account does not determine whether or not you are wealthy. Number two, hard work doesn't mean that you're going to become wealthy, because there are millions upon millions of people who work every day, 10, 12-hour days, 60, 70, 80-hour weeks. I mean, they spend more time on the job than they do at home. And yet they're falling behind. They don't have enough to meet. Many of them work those many hours because they don't have enough money. Now, there are those who maybe work 60, 70 hours a week, 50, 60, 70 hours a week because they want to, but you want to be in the position that you're doing it not out of necessity, but because you desire to do it. Okay, there's a big difference. Proverbs 23 says, "Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainties. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he." Now, in context, of course, he's talking about the evil eye guy. But if it's good for the evil eye guy, it's good for the good eye guy. And what I mean by that is, as a man thinketh, so is he, whether you're thinking good or evil. See, the way that God has designed the world, and more so the spirit world, not necessarily the terra firma that you see, but more so the spirit realm, the things that you can't see. And truth of the matter is, I've said it on previous videos, that the natural eyes can only see or perceive at a 0.0035%. So you're not really seeing everything that's actually there. You're seeing at less than 1% of all that exists on the spectrum, okay, on the visible spectrum. So the truth of the matter is, there's more to existence, or there's more to this life than meets the eye, literally. It's not just a colloquial saying, it's a reality that there's so much more that you don't even see. But there is a method that God has designed that can take what you can't see and bring it into the realm of what you can see, to take it from the invisible to bring it into the physical. And the way that happens is, number one, your mindset. Your mindset affects your assets. Your mentality will affect your reality. I say it all the time. I'll continue to say it because it is a truism, and it will never, ever change. Why? Because it's a law that no judge, no Congress, no caucus, no president, no dictator, no one created this. God created this law that governs the world. So that means if it works in America, it will work in Germany. If it works in Germany, it will work in Italy. If it works in Italy, it will work in Africa. The truth of the matter is, it's all dependent upon the state of mind that you operate on. Now, in order to change your state of mind, you have to oftentimes change your company, change your environment, change the people that you allow to speak into your life. That's the price that you have. That's the cost, but it pays an enormous price. The cost of it is you have to devoid yourself of certain environments and certain people, but the price that it pays as a result far exceed the cost that you have to pay in order to enjoy this abundant life that I'm speaking about. So again, you have to change your mentality from the mindset that says $1 million doesn't belong to me, or I could never have $1 million. That's what's going to defeat you the most, believing that it cannot happen for you. Now, I said it before, and I'll say it again. You more than likely, if you're 30, 40, 50 years old, you've had $1 million. It's just a question of how long did it take you to amass that $1 million. Well, I submit to you, we've been told again by, there's an institution we call the school system. The public school system has perpetrated the idea that you need an education in order to succeed in life. Now, I'm not discrediting those who have an education. The interesting thing is, I do have a BS degree. Yes, I have a degree. However, uh, I have a doctorate degree, but I didn't have to present a thesis to get the doctorate. It's called an honorary doctorate. Why did I receive it? Because it was conferred upon me as a result of the value that I've presented to the earth, the travel that I've done, the experiences that I've gained, the lessons that I've taught, the messages, the motivational, the all of the things that I've done to help impact people. Much of what I'm doing right now is what I've been doing for the last 30 years in various parts of the country, various parts of the world, just trying to breathe into the viewers and those that would listen, those that would have an ear to hear, to breathe and inspire and perhaps get them motivated about the same potentials that resides in them that are in me. There is nothing, and trust me when I say this, there is nothing special about me to the point that you cannot amass or do the things that I've done. Now, you can't be me, but you can be 100% you. And that's the greatest challenge, to discover who you are and then and discover the value that you bring to the earth to the point that people will pay you. Now, I want to deal with that for just a little bit. The truth of the matter, if I've said it before, if you are above the age of 30 or 40, you've more than likely had $1 million pass through your hands. So that should not be an issue. Let's get the idea that $1 million is this incredible nebulous idea that very few people are able to actualize or realize in their own lives. You literally can do the same. But as long as you believe it's for others, it will never be for you. As long as you think that there are those who are just destined to become wealthy, successful, happy, content, blessed, prosperous, living an abundant life, you will never be one of them. Now, that's why I tell you, you see the importance of changing your mindset, because until your mindset changes, your life will not change. Okay? So away with this idea that wealth and riches are for other people and not for yourself. You have to begin to declare that about yourself, that I am prosperous. And I say it all the time. I'm grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis. I say it all of the time. I am so grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis. And guess what? Money is coming to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis. So I'm in real estate, but I'm not just into real estate. I'm into investing. I'm not just into investing, but I'm an author. I wrote matter of fact, I'm working on the second and third book right now. Not only that, I'm a musician. I'm an award-winning jazz musician. Not only that, but I'm a music producer and engineer. I can mix and master. So I develop all of these streams of incomes and opportunities so that I can reap the rewards of it. Now, what makes it successful is how much it's valued by others. Now, if I was a lousy musician, no one would ever ask me to play. But because I've developed my skill set to a level that I can play on a professional level in any environment, in any place, any concert hall, anywhere in the world, and most people will enjoy it. Okay, so it's all a question of how much value do you represent in the earth. Okay, so that's why education is important, but is it about the education of your skill sets that you already possess? If you have a gift, now my natural gift was music. I started playing the piano at the age of 7, right? No lessons required. But I had to go on to perfect those skill sets to the point where, as a young musician, I'm talking about 9, 10, 11 years old, churches were offering me money to play for their church services. That was a wonderful deal. Now, if I wasn't developing my skill set and perfecting it, no one would be asking me to play. You get now your challenge becomes discovering what's your talent, what's your skill set, and perfect that skill set and make sure that it is of value to the marketplace. Make sure that your skill sets are of value or valuable in the marketplace, that there are people who are looking for the things that you do. As I said earlier, as a young child, before I could even get a W-9 or what's that, W-2 form, before I could work for McDonald's, which I never had to, thank God. But nothing wrong with working for McDonald's. But the reason I'm thanking God is my skill gave me the opportunity to earn my own income without having to work 9 hours a day, 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Did not have to go through that because I offered something that was of value and people paid me as a result. So that's what you have to do. Now that's a bar right there. You can write that down, rehearse that in your mind. I have to develop a skill set that brings me into a place of prosperity that I can begin to develop a value that helps people, that I can do something that brings a level of an increase to those who are looking for the very thing that I do. Maybe you bake wonderful cakes. Maybe you are an amazing mechanic. There are people who are looking for someone who will be able to work on their cars. Well, if you're an amazing mechanic, then you offer something of value to those who are looking for a mechanic. You just have to be one of the best. Okay. All right. So, all right, moving on. So, wealth doesn't start in your bank account. It starts in your mindset first. Working harder does not bring wealth. Just because you work hard does not mean you will come into your wealthy place. There's a lot of people who work hard, and I'm talking about super hard, particularly if they're in construction. I used to own me and a friend of mine. I got convinced that by my surrounding people, my peers told me as a musician, you don't have a real job because I wasn't clocking in on a 9 to 5. And so I heard that for so many years till it seeped into my psyche. And I decided, I'm going to get a job, a real job, quote unquote. But my entrepreneurial mindset said, I'm not going to work for McDonald's or Disney World, which was right down the street from us. I decided I'm going to get a construction job, a real construction job. And that was a new construction cleanup. We would work from sun up to sundown. And I'm talking about working hard. I'm talking about putting in hours where my hands would be sore, my back would be aching. And we have to go home, wash up, eat dinner, sleep, and do it all again the next day. And I'm working, hard labor. Until one day I realized, and we would do we did new single family homes. We did condos and high-rise buildings. So I remember one time they had built this condo building here in Florida, and it was multiple, like 14 stories, had over 300 units in it. And we had to clean each and every one of those units. New construction. Before anyone could move in, we'd have to scrape the concrete off the floor, scrape the concrete off the windows, wash the windows, clean the bathrooms, clean the kitchen, clean the counters, vacuum the floors and the carpet, make sure that it is spotless before anyone can move. Long story short, that was brutal. That's hard work, but it didn't make me rich. It didn't matter of fact, I didn't make more money. I made more money as a musician than I did as a new construction cleanup guy, working in construction cleanup. So eventually I came to the reality is I'm like the prodigal son. After one of those long sweat, and we would work in tall not skyscrapers, but tall, like 14, 15 stories. And we would work long hours with no AC in the middle of the summer. If you've ever been in Florida during the summer, you would know that's outlandish to be working inside of a building with no AC. So I came to myself like the prodigal son and said, you know what? I can do better than this. As a matter of fact, I was doing better than this, but I allowed peer pressure to drive me into getting a job, a real, quote unquote, real job, when I already had the means for wealth and increase in my hand. So that's why I say sometimes you're going to have to divorce yourself of your environment. Those that you've known, your homies, your homegirls, your homeboys, whatever, your ace, your buddies. Sometimes you're going to have to divorce yourself of them because of the mindset that they permeate and perpetrate upon you, and you celebrate amongst yourself. Because the Bible says again, he that hangs with the wise will become wise themselves. A companion of fools will be destroyed. So you are what you associate with. Your association will breed assimilation. You will become the people that you hang around the most. They will have the impact on you, not you on them, because there's more of them than there is of you. So make sure that those that are in the majority in your life are those who helps to inspire and promote wealth and increase and being able to be a blessing rather than asking for a blessing. All right. So that means that you have to get to the place where you don't feel like I have to trade my time for money. I got to give them 8 hours in order for them to give me a certain dollar amount. Now, there are those that will say you have to get to a place where you stop trading dollars for time for money, because we believe time is money, right? And to a certain extent, that's true, that time is money. But guess what? There are those that say that you should get away from trading your time for money. I say you can trade time for money if you determine what your time is worth. See, if my time is only worth $12.50 an hour, then I can't complain about upwards of $15,000 to $20,000 in 1 hour. But I get to choose what my time is worth. You get to choose what your time is worth. But we've been sold a bill of goods that says that you can only make what the people tell you you can make. You got a degree in this particular area of discipline. Well, they pay a certain dollar amount every hour or every year, 80,000, 90,000, maybe 100,000 a year. That's what that job pays. And you can never expect to earn more than that. Well, they have just put the limits on you. They put a value on your time. Now, what I'm suggesting is that you put a value on your own time. So if you want me to be of service to you or your organization or your corporation, then it's going to cost what I determine it's going to cost. Now, of course, you got to deliver. You can't just, speak flowery words. You've got to deliver on the promise. But if I determine my time is not it's worth more than $25 an hour. Matter of fact, it's $25,000 an hour. Well, you better deliver. But if what you are bringing is of value to the corporation, to the organization, or to the individual, they will happily pay you $25,000 an hour, because what you bring to them is valuable. It's more valuable than $25,000 an hour, because what you're going to gain, or what they're going to gain as a result of that $25,000 1 hour session, stands to yield in their life or $250,000. So if I'm going to make $250,000 off of a $25,000 investment it's worth it. It's worth it. If I stand to make $250,000 based on one time of $25,000 payment, I'm going to do that every day, all day, twice on Sundays. But then there are those who will not spend $10 to make $1,000 because they're busy trying to hold on to that $10. And as a result, they never go on to make the $10,000 or $10 million, depend. But what the bottom line is this, that what you have, if you find the market that values what you do, they will gladly pay you for what you can help them produce because they value what you offer. Your offer has to be of such value that they will pay you absolutely whatever you ask. But then again, the flip side of the coin is you better produce. Can't be smoke and mirrors. But at $25,000 an hour, you're probably good. Okay. But again, don't underestimate your own value. You have to know your own worth. You have to put in the time. Educate yourself. Become a master at whatever your craft is. Not just somebody who does it part-time, but who's read the books, who's studied, who's put in the time of research and developing your craft, developing your knowledge, developing your skill set to the point where you are one of the best, if not the best, to do it. Okay? So that moves you away from the concept that trading time for dollars or time for money. But again, the adjustment is this, that you can now trade time for money and be the one who determines